Hi everyone, I'm Brenda Gustin and I'm going to be your lab instructor for microbiology this summer. I wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction to what's going on our Bright Space page here and help you navigate the course and get started. This is the first year that I will be teaching microbiology lab online. I've been at Corning Community College for 25 years and I've been teaching microbiology ever since then. I know this course really well. I've also been teaching online courses for several years and feel pretty confident as an online instructor. That being said, teaching microbiology lab has a really kind of different feeling to it. Microbiology is such a tactile lab. There's so many things you can do with your hands that teaching it online is definitely a challenge. I've been working on this course over the past 9 months, and I put a lot of time in designing a lab that's meaningful to you and is going to teach you a lot of those microbiology skills virtually. I don't know if it's as good as doing it live. I guess if you're going to be a microbiologist, I probably wouldn't take an online lab, but for a lot of our students, these microbiology skills are things that you might never actually need to do professionally. So it's really, up to you to make that decision if an online lab is right for you. That being said, here we are, and we've got a great big class, and I'm pretty optimistic that this is going to go pretty well. One thing I want you to really be aware of is, like I said, I've designed this course. You guys are my first class. This was not designed by a book company. Every word in your lab book is something that I've written. So I put a huge amount of time into this. And that also means that I could have created mistakes. So if anything seems kind of not right or confusing, or it's taking a really long time, or if you have any comments about how things are going for you, please let me know as soon as you feel like I should know. If you're having problems getting into a video, or if directions aren't very clear or anything like that, email me immediately, because if you don't get it, you're probably not the only one. And any corrections you can help me make before the rest of the class starts on it too is a huge help. So you can imagine that lots of different things, I could have made mistakes in dates or times or who knows, but please help me out and help me make this a really smooth running course. I hope it starts off that way, but all the help you guys can give me, I really appreciate it. So here we are at Start Here. If you got to Start Here, it means you found our lab section, and obviously you found this video. And once I'm done making this video, I'm going to put it right here. And then underneath that video, you'll see this McGraw-Hill Connect link. You don't really ever need this link. This can get you to the McGraw-Hill Connect activities that you will use in lecture and lab. But for lab, I will also make links to Connect for each week at each assignment. So if you want to, this is one way to get to the McGraw-Hill Connect site, but you can also get there using all the links that you'll see through the course. So just to navigate yourself around here, here's our Start Here, the syllabus, and then I have it divided into week 1, part 1, week 1, part 2. And I'll explain that when we get to the syllabus. Let's go there. So the syllabus is right here in this link over here. And you're going to click on the link for the syllabus. The little message there says to print the syllabus and put it in a 3-ring binder. I think it's too cumbersome when you need the syllabus to keep going back online to find it. I highly recommend that you print it out and put it in a 3-ring binder. You're going to use the syllabus a lot. Notice that this syllabus is just for your lab. So Dave Pindell, your lecture instructor, will have given you a syllabus for lecture. So mine is just for lab. You can see here, my name is Brenda Gustin, and if you can call me Brenda or you can call me Dr. Gustin, either one. It doesn't, I have no preference, whatever you feel most comfortable with. There's my email address. I'm sure we'll be doing some communication through email. I don't have office hours, and the reason is summer is, so intense, and especially with an online class, I won't necessarily make an office hour when everybody's available. So what I would recommend is, if you want to talk to me, email me. And I don't know when I'm going to be in my office, so calling isn't always that easy, but definitely email me and I will get back to you. If it's on the weekend and it doesn't seem like it's urgent, I might wait a little while, but I try to get back as soon as I can. So please use that email. And if you want to schedule a time with me to talk longer, we can do it through Google Meet, we can do it on the phone, whatever you want to do. So I try to be available to you when you need me. There's a course description and learning objectives that go along with microbiology, and the course materials are the same materials that you'll be using in lecture. We have this first day access to your textbook, and it's called Microbiology Fundamentals, a Clinical Approach. It's a McGraw-Hill book. It's an e-book. You will find, I think a lot of people say, oh, I do much better with a hard copy of a book, but I think you're going to find that the books now that are, a lot of these books are being designed to be read online. And so this is one of those books, and I think you shouldn't have too much trouble referring to this book online. In fact, when you do the activities, the Connect activities, brings you to the virtual book, the virtual text, right where the answers to the questions are. So you're going to use the ebook whether you like it or not. So when you purchase the book, which the price of the purchase comes with your course bill, it comes with the Connect access, and so Connect has the virtual activities that we're going to do, including virtual labs and lab assignments. The format of the course, so the format of lab, I'm not going to talk about lecture right here, but the format of lab is our lab sessions. We divide every week. We have 5 weeks, and we divide every week into a part 1 and part 2. It's the same thing that you're doing for lecture. So part 1, week 1, part 1 ends, all the part 1s are going to end on Wednesday, except for week 1, because week 1 starts on Tuesday. So week 1, part 1, the assignments are going to be due on Thursday at 11:59 p.m., 1 minute before midnight. And then all the part 2s are going to be due on Sundays at 11:59 p.m. And some of you might say, oh, why don't you just make all the assignments due on Sunday? And again, I've taught online courses long enough to know that students really procrastinate. And there's so much material that I just don't think having one due date a week is really realistic for most students, for any students really. You can't absorb stuff all at the last minute. Most people will put it off. So half the material for the week is due on Wednesday, half of it's due on Sunday. Let's see, I highly recommend that you do the work ahead of time. You don't wait for the last minute, because if you wait for the last minute and all of a sudden your computer's not working, or all of a sudden something happens, your internet goes down or whatever, you now are going to have your assignments late. So there's a couple different kinds of lab assessments. We do these virtual labs, and I have some things called lab assignments and lab quizzes and lab practicals. I'll explain those when I get to the next part of the syllabus. But these virtual labs and lab assignments are created through McGraw-Hill through the Connect website. And the assignments, you go to the Connect link, I'll show you where that is, and you do those assignments. And as long as you do the assignments by the due date, you'll get full credit. The lab quizzes are quizzes that I create and I post them on Brightspace. They are typically on things that you did on your lab sheet. So when you complete your lab, you go to the lab quiz, and I might ask you some of the questions on that quiz, or questions that are similar to questions on that quiz. I mean, similar to questions that are on your lab handout. The other kind of assessment we do are lab practicals, and for the summer we have 3 lab practicals. And I'll give you a little more information about those as we get closer, but they're going to have a lot of visuals and relate to the labs that you have completed. The course grades are, the lab grades are combined with the lecture grades. And you can find the lab grades under grades in Brightspace. And what I will be doing is putting all your lab grades into our grade sheet in the lab section of Brightspace. Then once a week, once the week has finished and I've looked over all the assignments, I will get your total points and I'll add them to the grade sheet in the lecture section. So what you'll be able to do is go to the lecture section and you'll be able to know your grade for the course, because the lecture grades will be there and a total of the lab grades will be there. You'll see how that works as we move along. Here's a kind of crazy, complicated looking summary of what we're doing in this semester in lab. So here I have the week number. Here's week 1, and I have week 1 part 1, week 1 part 2. Remember I said week 1 part 1, the assignments are going to be due the first week on Thursdays, but every other week they're going to be due on Wednesdays at 11:59 p.m., 1 minute before midnight. For week 1 part 1, there's lab number 1, and that's posted on the week 1 part 1 page, and there's the name of it. And then what these things are is all of these are listed in that lab handout that you'll see for the week. The VL means virtual lab, and the initials are some of the initials in the title, enough for you to figure out what that title is. And then what will happen is when you do that assignment, you'll be able to find this grade on your grade sheet. For the first lab, it's going to be worth a total of 10 points. And you can see each one of these virtual labs is worth 1 point. And then lab quiz number 1 will be worth 3 points. And that's going to be made from questions that are taken directly from that lab sheet. So that's what you're going to do by Thursday, June 1st. Same thing. Lab number 2 is going to be the week 1 part 2. It tells you there's going to be something called a lab assignment. Now that's going to look familiar because in lecture you have these lecture assignments that use the textbook and use Connect and ask you a lot of questions about your reading. So these lab assignments are actually taken directly from the book and they're the same format. I only have 3 of them in the course and they only cover portions of chapters. They're not entire chapters. There's another lab quiz for a total of 10 points and here's the due date. So all the lab assignments and the due dates and the points available are listed on this sheet. So I'm going to stop right here, and I think you should go to week 1, lab 1, or week 1, part 1, and I'll have another video there waiting for you. Take care.